Now here's your host, Pastor Paul Begley.
Welcome. This is the Coming Apocalypse. I'm Pastor Paul Begley, and today we're going to have a powerful broadcast. If you're thinking about how do you know where we're at in biblical prophecy, when is Jesus coming? What does it mean by the apocalyptic conclusion? Is this the end times? All of these questions are constantly being asked by people every day. And it should be asked because we're living in a time of unbelievable volatility. It's just unbelievable how volatile this world is getting, how the madness that's being created in the Middle East and the problems economically, socially, even politically, the turbulence is unbelievable. So today we're going to do two things. We're going to be in Matthew chapter 24 and Isaiah chapter 24. And we're going to see how the Old Testament prophet and Jesus Christ himself answered the greatest question, and that is, when is he coming and the end of the world? I'll be right back in just a few moments with this message.
Available from Paul Begley, his CD, Wayfaring Stranger.
I'm just a poor wayfaring stranger, traveling through this world below.
Wayfaring Stranger includes the title cut plus 11 other songs. Order yours by visiting paulbegleyprophecy.com today.
All right, so stop everything you're doing right now and just concentrate for a moment. If Jesus was to come back, are you ready to meet him? And then the next question is, well, when is he coming? Well, no one knows the day nor the hour. Even Jesus said that himself. He said, for no man knoweth the day nor the hour, no, not the angels in heaven, but the Father only. But he gave us a lot of clues to look for during the end times. And if you'll grab a Bible and go with me to Matthew chapter 24, this question was brought to Christ as they were sitting on the Mount of Olives. Let's go to verse 3. And as he sat upon the Mount of Olives, the disciples came unto him privately, saying, tell us, when shall these things be? And what shall be the sign of thy coming and the end of the world? It's a very simple question, but it's a huge, and obviously Jesus had been sharing with them that he was going to die, raise from the dead, and ascend to heaven and return, because they were asking about his coming, his return, and the end of the world. And so what could be some of the things we should be looking for? What will be the condition of the earth? Give us a prophecy, if you will, of what the end times will be like so that we can be prepared, so we can tell others that the time is at hand. And you think about it, they are asking him this question. It's been 2,000 years, and we're still waiting for the return of Christ. But what we do have is his words, his prophecy of what to watch for in the last days. And if you look the next verse here in Matthew 24, verse 4, and Jesus answered and said unto them, take heed that no man deceive you, for many shall come in my name, saying, I am Christ, and shall deceive many. So his opening statement here is false Christ. False Christ will come and say that they are Christ or that they are the Messiah. And they will be not, of course they're not him, and they will try to deceive, and they will deceive. They will confuse people. And they will be, I would assume, very charismatic. I would say they'd be very powerful. There will be an aura about them. We've seen this in people. Look, entertainers, musicians, politicians, even ministers. We've seen that kind of aura that sometimes can be attracting people or can cause people to really get addicted to an individual or a movement. But when someone says they're Christ, and we've had them, we've had several of them. We have some right now. There's a man in Australia calls himself Jesus of Australia. And there's another one in Siberia, all right? And the one in Siberia, it looks a lot like your pictures of Christ. sits up on a mountain. 5,000 people every Sunday go up on top of this mountain. They walk up this mountain to sit and listen to him like it's a Sermon on the Mount. We've had false prophets. We've had the David Koreshes and the Branch Davidians in Waco, Texas. We've had the Reverend Jim Jones, who ended up taking 1,000 people to Guyana and Jonestown and convincing them to drink the Kool-Aid and commit suicide and to take the lives of their children. I mean, there's been strong delusion. There's been deception that has come. We've seen these, but we've not seen even close to what I believe Christ is talking about here. False Christ who actually create a messianic movement where people truly believe that the individual they're worshiping or serving is the Messiah, and they will follow him to the very end in a powerful way, and I think a mega way. And it still hasn't happened yet, but look for it to begin to happen very soon, as the New World Order, as the beast that's spoken of in the book of Revelation begins to rise. We know there's going to be a very charismatic individual who will be the Antichrist and a false prophet that will be with him. And they will be able to do miracles, what has seemed to be miracles, deceptive miracles, bringing fire from heaven, and they will deceive many. All right? And if you go on in Matthew 24, look at verse 6. It says, "And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet." Well, if you start talking about wars and rumors of wars, it seems to me, and historically, we've always had wars and rumors of wars. But Jesus is talking now specifically in the end times. There must be going to be such chaos upon the earth where there will literally be nation rising against nation, kingdoms against kingdoms. And there will be all kinds of chaos. And if you think about the situation we have now with North Korea, Kim Jong-un, he has tested nuclear armament already 5 times. He's tested nuclear bombs. He detonated a hydrogen bomb underground. He's now fired a missile from submarines. And just this past, lately here, they just celebrated. They crowned him, if you will. They didn't put a crown on his head, but they made him the sun god. I mean, which is what the pharaohs did, okay? Back in the days of Egypt, they would call him Re. These Ramses, these different pharaohs were considered the sun god. The Greeks did it with Apollo. The Mayans had a sun god. The Aztecs had a sun god. And now North Korea's got a sun god. I mean, are you serious? But this guy is really sinister. Okay, number one, he's a 3rd generational curse. His grandfather, then his father, Kim Jong-il, up until Kim Jong-un, for over 70-some years, the people of North Korea have been under a tyrants. This is tyranny with a capital T. Christianity was completely outlawed. All Bibles confiscated. All Christians either put to death or tormented in prisons and tortured. There's been economic collapse. They're isolated from the rest of the world. And in North Korea, you can't even put a picture on the wall of any of your family members. The only picture that you're allowed to put on your wall is of Kim Jong-un. He even ordered the men there to get a haircut like him. He fed his uncle to 120 hound dogs, all right, in a cages. He executed his aunt. He kills his cousins. He executed his ex-girlfriend. The list goes on and on and on of just the unbelievable tyranny. The point is this: these types of entities are starting to rise. We have ISIS in the Middle East. We have North Korea. We have tensions rising in NATO again. I thought that was over. It seems like we're going into another Cold War even between the United States and the NATO allies and the Russians. We see what's going on in the Middle East. All around Jerusalem, they are surrounded. There's 17 different armies, in Syria alone, either there or bombing there. It's an incredible situation. So when Jesus says these words, Ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. For nation shall rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom. And there shall be famines and pestilences and earthquakes in divers places. All of these are the beginning of sorrows. And sometimes I try to tell people, there's things happening now where it's just shocking. There's events taking place that is shocking. Apocalyptically, let's say, whether it's in the environment, extreme weather conditions, whether it's in the cosmos with asteroids and meteorites, but in the hearts of men, there is something taking place that I've never seen before. Evil's always been around. Evil has been something that we've never been able to get rid of or can't get rid of. Christ can forgive you of your sins, but he won't save you in your sins. He'll deliver you from it. But there's an awakening taking place now in these last days. And that is what Christ is trying to say here, I believe, in Matthew 24. He's warning us that these are the beginning of sorrow. This is nothing compared to what's coming. I think about just recently we've had a 7.8 earthquake in Ecuador, where over 700 people are dead. There's still a couple hundred people still missing. Just total chaos there. And the next day, 7.0, we had another earthquake. This one hit Japan, left 45 dead, over 1,500 people injured there. In Ecuador, over 2,500 people injured there. Those are back-to-back quakes, different parts of the world. Ecuador 7.8, Japan 7.0, and Japan constantly is suffering from the March 11th, 2011 mega earthquake of 9.0 that literally shook the ground for 6 minutes, then brought a tsunami inland 6 miles and left 6 nuclear reactors melting down. It was unbelievable if you think about it. 26,000 people lost their lives. We've seen the tsunami of 2004. But Jesus is saying that these things are the beginning of sorrow. Matter of fact, we just had 2,000 people die of heat exhaustion in India and 1,000 in Pakistan. This was last summer. And this year, we've already just had this 2 weeks ago, 300 more people dying of heat in India again. So the situation, the apocalyptic scenario continues to build. And in this broadcast, we're going to go and share more with you of not only will you see the evil and the wickedness and the violence that takes place in the end times, but whatever's going on in the spiritual world manifests in the physical. And we're going to show you that in just a little bit. I'll be right back with some more of the apocalyptic signs. These are the end times. I'll be right back. A brand new book I've just finished called Reflections from the Land of the Prophets. This book is filled with beautiful pictures, a pictorial, if you will, of the Holy Land, and some definite great insight to the prophets that once spoke mightily in the times leading us up to the present. It's a prophetic word, a reflection of what God has spoken, not only historically from the past, but for the future. Go to my website. It's available now.